Welcome to Regan's Rants and Raves, episode 2, Ghouls. I don't want to start it like that.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to do that again.
Okay, all right.
Do it again, but with failing.
Welcome to Regan's Rants and Raves. I am your hostess with the mostest, Ellie, and today we'll be breaking down, bitching about, overanalyzing 1975, the Rocky Horror Picture Show. If you haven't seen this movie yet, then I don't understand why the fuck you're even here. If you have seen the movie, then sit back, relax, and have a thrilling time with us as we do the Time Warp game. Did you like that? Was that cute?
That was hella cute.
Did you like it when I tried it again?
Please no.
Extremely cute.
That's attempt 2, by the way, audience.
Oh my fucking god. So I'm assuming we all know how this story goes. Brad and Janet, kind of get...
Asshole slut.
What if people don't? What if they don't know how it goes?
I don't give a shit if they don't know.
Well, you need to tell them.
I don't want to now. You made me nervous.
I feel like it might just be polite to give
wanna
them a
tell them?
summary.
Okay, so I stole this straight off of... Every time I say that fucking website.
IMDb.
Yay.
Internet
Thanks.
Movie Database.
Thank you. A newly engaged couple have a breakdown in an isolated area and must pay to call a... What? A newly engaged couple have a breakdown in an isolated area and must pay a call to the bizarre residence of Dr. Frankenfurter. Have a breakdown in an isolated area.
I have a breakdown in an isolated area
Same.
quite often. Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
day I have a
Every
breakdown
day.
in an isolated area.
Usually an empty parking lot. Yeah.
That sounds
My
about right.
car.
Yeah.
Okay, so how I kind of wanted to start this off is, as everybody kind of knows, this is my full-blown passion, is the Rocky Horror Picture Show. First time I saw it, it was at the Warner Theater. It was in Morgantown, West Virginia. Mm-hmm. And I was only allowed to stay, I'm going to preface this, only allowed to stay up until Sweet Transvestite. As soon as they went up the elevator, my mom was like, okay, we're going to leave now. Or my stepmom was like, okay, we're going to leave now. You can't see anymore.
This is where it gets real. You're gone. You're out of here.
Pretty much.
Done.
But the whole thing that kind of really sucked me in and was the experience of the show, how excited people were to be there, how just there was like a live band outside, everybody was dressed up, and it was like a whole, I think it's what kind of shaped me into being a horror fanatic that I am now, was seeing this movie for the first time. So for this being our second episode is pretty great. I'm really glad that I have everybody here willing to sit here and talk about it with me. Do we want to go around the table and say, one, who we play in Rocky Horror ACT, and
Currently, or in past, or both?
both. I want to hear all of the
your
above.
history, your
Okay.
resume.
You want to start with Dustin?
Go ahead, BB.
Yes, let's go. I'm Dustin, obviously. You've seen me previously in our last talk about Child's Play. I started as a criminologist, the asshole with no neck. That was me. And due to unforeseen circumstances, I got asked to step in by our lovely Ellie here to be our riffraff. And I loved playing the hunchback piece of shit that he was. And that kind of drew me in even more than I had before as the criminologist. And then eventually I was switched over to Bradley, a.k.a. Brad, the asshole.
Ew.
That was disgusting.
Thanks.
Can you
Thanks
not
for
say
that.
How could you make
again?
him sound like more of an asshole?
Why not? That's what he is. Continue.
All right, Miss Katie.
Is it me? Okay. Hi, I'm Katie.
Hi, Katie.
Again, I'm an alcoholic.
Hi, Katie.
This is alcohol.
Why did we even put it in the cup? We were just gonna say.
I didn't say what kind it was.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, again, yes, you also saw me in Child's Play, the podcast thing. And I started off playing Rocky because Ellie messaged me. I had wanted to try out for Rocky previous years, and I had wanted to go see it, and I had wanted to be a part of it, but I had just kind of never done it. And then Ellie messaged me, and she said, hey, you're really hot, and I need you for something.
That is literally how that went down.
She messaged me on Facebook.
I'm not surprised.
Because the way that it happened was, I pictured you in the gold bikini, I pictured the red hair, it just kind of all clicked in my head, and I'm like, this is gonna work. And then I
It
messaged
did.
you.
And she said, you're really hot, and I think that you would be great. Will you please try out for my show? And I said, oh my gosh, nobody's ever wanted me to do anything for them ever, so yes, I will try out for your show, absolutely. And so I ended up being Rocky, and that was my first time doing Rocky Horror Picture Show. And then after that, I decided that I wanted to do something different. I wanted to do a different role, something that would challenge me a little bit more. So I ended up doing Janet, and I was Janet for 2 years. And then this past year, I actually ended up being cast as Magenta. But due to some more unforeseen circumstances, I am back now in my role as Janet.
Got a lot of those.
It always happens. It always ends up happening.
But I really enjoyed Magenta, and I enjoyed the time that I had playing her. But now I'm really enjoying being back in Janet, and as much as I want it to be a new role, I feel like it's familiar and it's fun to do. So
Good.
there you go.
Well, hi, my name is Ellie, and I am an alcoholic.
Hi, Ellie.
Hi, Ellie.
We're not going to introduce ourselves every time like that, are we?
I feel like it's now become
Yes,
a
we
thing,
are.
and I should continue to do so.
Yes.
So I feel like I've been doing this for so long that I can't even remember how I started. I started helping with Shadowcast because I was not over the age of 18. I snuck into several shows because I was obsessed with it. It's been an ongoing situation in my life. But the first time I was ever actually in a Shadowcast, I was casted as Janet. I did Janet for 2 years. And then I got to step into the role of being a director, which is all I've ever wanted to do, which blew my mind. And since then, I've been Columbia and Magenta several times anytime we needed it. But normally what I really like to do is get everybody, direct. It is my dream, and I can't believe I get to do it with this kind of show. Alec?
Hi, I'm Alec. Due to some technical issues, I'm going to move this microphone a little closer. Yeah? We good? Okay.
Speak louder.
Okay, I can do that.
Just be the asshole like Brad.
Okay, well, that's
Bradley?
a good place to start. I did Rocky Horror for about 4 years. It's where I met Ellie. I was the Brad to her Janet, the asshole to her slut.
Stop.
Every slut needs an asshole.
True.
Yeah. And I also met Katie about that time too. I went on to Rocky Horror from another production. And I was Brad for the 2 years, and when Ellie took over, she cast me as Eddie and Dr. Scott initially, right? And later in the season, promoted me to her assistant director, which I tried my best to do.
I'm not that easy to work for.
I'm still here. So I continued that for the next year and a half before stepping out due to, let's call it unforeseen circumstances again.
Yep.
Yeah, great.
Catchphrase of this episode.
Yeah.
Tiptoeing around tea. It's fine.
Yeah. And I just helped out whenever I could. How I was introduced to Rocky, do we just want to segue into that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so first time I ever heard about Rocky, I was, I want to say 16, 17. I don't know how it took me that long to hear about it, but I was just talking to this girl who I was really into, and she was like, "You ever done a Shadowcast for Rocky Horror?" And I'm like, I don't know what that is. Well, you should get a Shadowcast together and do that. And I was like, okay. And when I heard that it was happening at the local theater, I tried to get in for an audition, but I was out of town for the spring break that they were holding auditions. Messaged the director of the time, and she was like, "Yeah, just give me your information." And never heard anything about a callback until apparently 3 people dropped out all at once.
Oh, yeah.
That happens.
Oh, weirdly.
Yeah.
Unforeseen circumstances.
Yeah, exactly.
Power of 3.
Yeah. So then she messaged me, literally as I was leaving a rehearsal for the show we were doing. "Hey, you want to be in Rocky Horror?" And I was like, "Oh, okay."
I mean,
I guess.
And
Why
my
not?
life has been worse ever since.
Cute.
the love of Rocky Horror is kind of what's kept us all together, and
God.
It's weird how that happened. It would just all started there with that first year of my directing. It was like literally 3 years ago that I don't know why we just don't leave each other anymore. I think it's some weird fucked up family and we all need to go seek therapy. What was the first time you watched it?
So the first time that I ever watched it was really funny. I was maybe 13 years old. I can't have been more than 13. And I remember vividly because we were living in Carlsbad, New Mexico at the time. And my dad, he called me into his bedroom and he had a movie on his TV. And so he called me into his bedroom and he said, "Katie, I really want you to watch this. I think you're really going to enjoy this."
Oh, no.
And he showed me Sweet Transvestite. And he said, "I think you're really going to enjoy this. This is just a real good oldie from my day, and I think you're really going to like it." And so he showed me Sweet Transvestite, and I just sat there and I watched it, and I just didn't really know how to feel after it. I was very, slightly uncomfortable, and I didn't really know what was going on, and I was really kind of wondering what the point was for him to show me this. I was like, "Dad, why are you doing this to me?
Why is this man in drag yelling at me?
What's happening?" Because I also come from a very religious, conservative family, and so I didn't really understand what was happening, and I was like, "Dad, why are you showing me this? Is this some kind of sex education video? I don't know.
Are you gonna hurt me?
Is this a punishment? What did I do wrong?" And so I was very concerned. But I did really like it. I liked all the costumes. And I remember very vividly Columbia standing out to me and being just very colorful and tap dancing. And dancing was, a part of my past and everything. So I was very interested in it. But I just weirded out was the whole thing. I was just very concerned. Mm-hmm. And I was like, why is this happening? And then I really didn't have anything to do with Rocky Horror for the next couple of years at least, until I was about 17 or 18 years old. And I remember watching it maybe one more time when I was 17 or 18, and just never really thinking much of it. Literally until Ellie messaged me and said, "Hey, you're really hot. You should do this for me." And
how do I ring people in that way? How does that happen?
I just said, well, I guess that I should watch the movie some more. And then I started watching the movie, and then I just kind of fell in love with it now that I was a little bit older and could understand things.
Stockholm Syndrome. You just
right.
expose yourself to it more. And yeah.
I tend to do that to people. It's fine.
So, yeah.
All right, Dustin, what's your story?
So I remember seeing bits and pieces when I was younger, and my mom had shown it to me. I didn't think anything of it because I have done theater since I was 9, so I was like, oh, okay, whatever. It's just a weird movie that I had never seen before. Whatever. Tim Curry was in it. Cool. I remember him from Home Alone 2 when I was a kid. So for me, I was like, oh, this guy. All right, cool. When I got older, a friend of mine in high school, I think I was a junior or senior, and a good friend of mine was like, hey, let's go see Rocky Horror at the local theater. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, I remember seeing it was kind of odd, but sure, why not? He was like, make sure to grab like fishnets and something like real sexy, and I'm like, what?
Dress up like a hoe and come on down here.
And I had no idea this was a thing, so I was like, all right, I got fishnets, I wore my Chucks, and I wore some like cut off t-shirt, like nothing crazy, but
looking like a real douche.
Yeah, total douche. I get there and it was a whole sea of weirdos like myself, and I was like, I love this. Like, it felt like I was right at home, and that was the first time I had seen it in full and actually around other people who had grown to love this movie for so many years. So from that point on, I didn't really, watch it a whole lot. I remember going as Frankenfurter for Halloween in college. I have a picture of it somewhere. I have to find it and show you. It's fantastic.
Gonna link it to the video.
Yes, until later on when I was asked to step in as the criminologist by you, and from that point on, I've just pretty much been hooked. So yeah.
Good. I'm just still baffled how it's kept us together for this long. It's just this movie has done this to a soul, like these are my whole group of friends that we sit here and do this just because we love this movie. And that's what kind of birthed us doing more things together was our passion for this one thing.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of crazy to me. So I kind of want to go around the table and get the real tea. I'm your fucking director, so you got to look at me in the eyes and tell me if you hate the movie or not. I kind of want to hear what everybody has to think about the actual movie. This campy, beautiful thing we worship.
Okay, so something I skipped over in my intro to Rocky segment, sorry, was the first time I actually watched it, was maybe a year before I was brought in as Brad, like 2 weeks before opening. And my best friend at the time decided to show it to me and a couple of other friends, and I had no fucking idea what the hell I had just watched. Like, there was so much that made no goddamn sense to me. Like, when Eddie pops in the middle of the movie with no introduction.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Spoiler alert for the 40-fucking-year-old movie.
Over 40 now. We're over 40 now, but keep going.
Oh, congratulations. I was so confused, so baffled, and like I missed some details later on in the movie about the significance of Eddie. Like when Frankenfurter says, maybe I made a mistake splitting the brains between the two of them. Just completely went over my head. So
that he cut out this dude's brain,
Yeah.
split it in half, and then put it into another man. And yeah,
he grew
it
himself.
So I read something online. I just need to add this little thing in there. I read
Okay.
something online a while ago that apparently Riff Raff, like Richard O'Brien said this, that Riff Raff had done it all along, and that Frankenfurter was just kind of taking it as his thing that he was doing.
Sounds about
Because
right.
he's like the Igor in this whole thing.
Yeah.
So
Makes
keep
sense,
going.
yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I meant to interrupt you.
That's fair. No,
Just call it like it is.
So yeah, that was my first experience, like trying to absorb Rocky. But you know, once you get into the Shadowcast and you watch the movie literally every fucking day, or at least you should if you're trying to do it correctly and do it the best you
Hint,
can.
hint, nudge, nudge. Shit fucks.
You start to pick up on more things, and I think it was you who did the most like explaining to me, either you or our Frank that first year.
Yeah.
And things started falling into place for me, and I did develop a fondness for it beyond just, that girl I liked this, so maybe I can get some points.
That girl I was trying to...
Yeah. Trying to.
Wait.
I forget what this question even fucking was.
Like, what do you actually fucking think about the movie?
Okay, so beyond the initial confusion, again, I've developed a fondness for it, but at the same time, I fucking hate it because I'm just so exposed to it all the time.
I ruined it for everybody involved.
I can feel that.
Yes.
I love this movie, and it holds a special place in my heart for doing it for so long, but there are times,
Yeah.
I will admit,
Like,
where it's
sweet
like,
God.
I don't want to think about it. If anybody says anything related to Rocky, horror, or picture, or show, I'm going to lose my mind because
So-
you hear
it's
the
just
jingle and the songs.
I'm
come
a
on.
hop on that as you being who I am.
Dad.
Okay, so yes, I am your father. Between October and like February, I can't think about it. I can't talk about it. That is my break of not no, I just can't. If the song comes on my phone, I will panic.
Dude, you throw fits whenever something
Yeah.
from it comes on while we're driving.
Just be like, no, stop,
Same.
save it. Save it for the
Same.
save it for rehearsals. Just because I will always love this movie. Do not get me wrong, but I have memorized every single fucking line of this movie, and I sometimes just can't. And that's just okay. That's fine.
Yep.
Do you have anything else to add onto your little
It's
little
fine.
thought process?
Fire all around us. It's fine.
Yeah.
Fine, it's great.
This is fine. No, that's my opinion. I was really confused, still pretty confused, but developed a fondness, fucking hate it at the same time. Yeah, yeah.
So, I love this movie because it involves all of my favorite things. I am a theater kid. It has the musical aspect in there. I am a horror fanatic. It has that aspect in there. It has fucking Tim Curry in it, and you can never go wrong with Tim Curry, ever.
Curry improves everything.
Oh my god, that's
is true.
sweet bitch. You can never go wrong with fucking Tim Curry. And him taking on that beautiful role of, I can't picture anybody else doing it. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Please don't ever fucking remake that thing again. I can never picture anybody else stepping into those heels, being that person. As much as we try as a Shadowcast to be these people, it's a reason why it's a cult classic.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And I can't rave about this movie enough. It is campy, and it is also shitty at the exact same time. Like, it is a bad movie, but I think I like it more because it's a bad movie, if that makes any sense.
It's also supposed to be a bad movie. Like, it's an homage to the sci-fi B movies of the 50s.
Yeah. It is an entire joke, and it's also a Frankenstein joke.
Yeah.
Like, the whole time.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love the campiness.
Maybe that's what they had in mind when they remade it. Let's take this and try to make it shitty, but like real.
But like polished, like a polished turd.
Like a polished turd, but not even polished.
Let's add some highlighter on that bitch and send her out the door.
Like take a turd and dunk it in more feces and vomit on it, and then just like throw it out your car window going 90 miles an hour.
Jesus fucking Christ.
That's a visual.
Yeah. That's
a visual.
So, Miss Katie, what do you think about the movie?
Like
real tea, I'm ready to hear it. I will cry about it later, but I'm ready to hear it.
I honestly feel, I don't know, I feel like I am giving a very biased review of the movie because, again, like I said, I hadn't really, the first time I encountered it, I was 13, and I thought, what the fuck? Why did my dad just randomly show me Sweet Transvestite and then nothing else? He didn't show me the rest of the movie.
no explanation.
I didn't see the rest of the movie until I was 17 or 18 years old, and then by the time that I was 17 or 18, I didn't really, like, give a shit about it. I was just kind of like, oh, this is a movie that I'm watching. And so I feel like I'm a little bit biased in a sense that I never really got the cult classicness of it.
Yeah.
So I'm sure when I started watching it, it was more of like a, wow, this is really
something.
This is a lot.
It is always a lot to take in the first time you see it.
Right, and
That's
I
what
didn't.
she said.
I really didn't understand, and I think that the first couple of times that I watched it, it was more of a, I only knew certain songs from the movie.
Everybody knows the fucking time warp.
Right, and like I only knew certain songs because I would only watch it up until a certain point. So I didn't really know anything past the time warp, honestly. I didn't know anything past that also because it was a big thing with like my dad and him being, he really loves the Rocky Horror Picture Show, but so he would always listen to the soundtrack in his car with me in it as like a small child. And our thing, even though I had never seen the movie, I'd only seen Sweet Transvestite, he played it enough that whenever he would be in the car with me, he would play the soundtrack and we would always sing There's a Light together. That would be like our little like daddy-daughter duet.
That's really cute.
Yeah. And so I really knew that song, and I really knew like Damn It, Janet, because he would always sing that one with me, but you know, he's really religious, so we would say, dang it, Janet. And it was really cute, because I was a small child. But yeah, so I only knew like half of the movie, but then once I started to actually watch the whole movie, it was still just really campy and really like, what is this?
Yeah.
But again, I didn't really feel anything towards it until I got involved with the show. Mm-hmm. And then once I got involved with the show, I started having like real sentimental attachments to it, and I started to really understand it and really like have a love for it.
Yeah.
So
this movie does a lot for many groups of people. The LGBTQ plus community. This movie's just this movie does a lot more than just is a weird fucking musical. This movie says something about sexual liberation that I don't think any other movie has said in a while.
It'll still hold true years and years from now.
Exactly.
And I have to say, like, honestly, when I did Rocky for the first time, yes, it started to mean something to me. But when I did Rocky for the first time, I was Rocky. And I feel like with that character, it doesn't really have so much to do with the deeper meanings of the show. Like, you're literally just a creature that was born to like have sex with Frankenfurter, and it's a comedic role, and it's funny and it's great, and I got to wear a shiny gold bikini.
You're a human dildo,
right? And it was fun, but like it wasn't really that much of anything until I got to play Janet, and then once I started playing Janet, I started to see
her full blown breakdown throughout like the whole movie,
and I started to see the the evolvement of her sexual liberation.
Yeah.
And, like, I kind of identified with
freedom.
that. Yeah, I kind of identified with that in a way because, like I said, my family is very religious and very conservative, and we don't talk about sex, and we don't, all of that stuff. And so I kind of very much identified with Janet and the sexual liberation and the, oh my god, I'm a woman and I'm gonna goddamn show it type of thing. And so that, I think playing Janet has given me a lot more sentimental attachment to the movie and has made me understand it in a different way.
I love that.
Yeah.
Destin?
What was the question? I'm sorry, I'm focusing on levels, so you have to forgive me. We have a technical issue, so one mic is not working.
We do have a technical
currently,
issue, yeah.
So I apologize.
It's okay. So what do you actually think, full tea on the table, I won't cry about it until later, what do you actually think about the movie?
But you will cry, you promised that, right?
I will cry.
Probably will. Good.
I'll
I
send
want to make Dad
photos so that
cry.
way you guys can touch yourselves about it later.
No, I mean it didn't have the same impact on me growing up. So like I said, I didn't really see it until fully until I was I think 15 or 16. So I didn't have that special place in my heart for it, but definitely felt more at home when I started seeing it out and about. And I don't know. In general, I mean, it definitely had a great impact on me and kind of took me out of my shell. Theater does that in one way, but Rocky Horror does it in a whole other way.
It's a whole nother fucking ball.
It's a whole other ball game. So, I mean, for me, it's not like my favorite movie in the whole entire world, but it's easily one of the better shows that I've done because I've met a lot of great people. You can really explore the characters in different ways, if you move around. And as Katie was saying, you play Rocky and Janet, and you guys have played multiple characters. When you can take one character and do something with it, great, fine, dandy. But when you can take 2 to 3 people and make it your own, but, take some things from the movie and, use it in your performance, I mean, that goes to show how versatile it can really be, so...
I always took this movie to heart. I don't know if it's because I always saw the deeper meaning of this thing. Not obviously when I was that little, but as I started to grow up, I started to realize, wow, maybe we shouldn't slut shame people because, we are allowed to be sexually free in any way, shape, or the word, as long as you're not hurting anybody, normal. But this movie means so much to me, and I know it means so much to people, especially being a woman. And being also playing Janet, because I also see that freedom that Susan Sarandon's character goes through is there's nothing like it. I wish more movies would do that for other people. I really do. And if you haven't seen this movie, fuck you and all. But you really, really should, just because of the message that's there. There's a deeper meaning than just wearing fishnets and heels. Not that it isn't great, but there is a deeper meaning there that... Yeah. So...
It just does things for people.
It does. Sexually.
Yep.
Anyways. So, I want to go around the table of favorite scenes and why. Alec, you want to start?
Oh, wow.
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord.
Or favorite scene. It doesn't have to be
Man, I feel like we're all just gonna have the same 3 answers.
Maybe we won't.
Maybe
we won't.
Balls up, motherfucker.
I mean, Time Warp, Sweet Transvestite, and fucking... I'm forgetting the name of the song, but Eddie's scene.
Are you just forgot the name Hopatootie?
Yes, Hopatootie.
Holy shit.
Oh,
Yeah, I know.
no.
I only did it for 2 years. Yeah, but like,
It's
yeah,
fine.
no. Those three songs are like the reason people like still continue to go out to the movies and see this whenever there's a Shadowcast putting it on, right?
Yeah.
I mean, those are the draws.
Those are these songs.
Yeah, that's exactly what people go for. If you're ever like, I don't want to make this all about shadowcasting, but like whenever you do have a shadowcast, soon as fucking Time Warp starts, people get out
People
of the
are-
seats. People
They're
filling
ripping off. Oh my
aisles,
god.
getting up on the stage. It is. You ever want to see like a theater full of goths get fucking lit?
And the thing is that it's all ages too.
Yeah.
It is like from like 15. Don't bring your 15-year-old. It is from like 15-year-old to like 60 or up. It is everybody is
Yeah.
on the fucking ground dancing to the Time Warp. It is such just a big staple. It is not my favorite scene, but it's such a big staple of the
Yeah.
movie. It is.
And then
It's the one everybody knows.
And then there's the climax just a minute later with Sweet Transvestite.
Ugh.
People lose
As
their
soon as you hear,
goddamn
like, the-
minds. Yeah.
Like his feet. As soon as you hear that,
Anybody got a heel we can just like slam on the table right now?
Good
Or
luck.
yeah, no, maybe not.
I'm sure they're here.
I'm
somewhere.
normally the stripper shoes are with me, but they're not with me today.
That's fair. That's fine. So those two scenes, and then you get fucking Meatloaf in Hot Patootie.
Oh, Dad.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Tell us how you really feel.
Oh,
So, in short, those are my three favorite scenes. I feel like my answer isn't really stand out. Ask 10 people in a room, 8 are probably gonna have the same answer. I
Probably.
think. Yeah.
Yeah.
so my favorite scene is it's not that. It's at the very end of the movie when Magenta gets her moment. Because, something we're going to get to later, but my favorite character is Magenta. So that moment when she's in that Bride of Frankenstein hair and she's yelling and she's got that beautiful accent falling out of her mouth. Oh my god, and the elbow sex.
Yeah.
It's just, there's none other. There's none other. I
When
can't.
she's yelling at Frank.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's literally my second favorite one. Yeah, I love doing that. So being Magenta, love doing that scene where she just barrels up to him and yelling at him. It is just, and then they both look at the camera and then they walk over to Dr. Scott and then the hands go up and they just, like, they both know we're here to fucking kill people. Those are by far, I don't know why, that and There's a Light.
Yeah.
That's my other all the time.
Why there's a light?
I think it's a really beautiful song.
That's fair.
I don't know
Something you can
why.
sing with your daughter in the car.
Apparently.
Yeah.
When she's very young
Yeah.
and doesn't know anything about the movie.
Apparently, yeah. Also, science. It's not really like a science fiction. I like the lips. Obviously, it's iconic. The lips, Patricia Quinn's lips, with Richard O'Brien's voice coming out of the lips. It's just that whole sequence, opening up the movie to that is just iconic. I just can't talk about it more.
I just can't. I just
Yep.
can't do it.
My favorite scene from the stage show is actually Eddie's Teddy.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that's really weird, but that's for another time.
Hey.
Stop.
That was the best thing to do in any Shadowcast. 'Cause
I
you can just
hate
make
that.
Ellie lose her fucking mind.
I don't. It's only you.
Look off stage.
It's every time that you're on stage and you make eye contact with me and you do that, I can't help myself.
There's a reason, Dad.
Other people have tried to create it, and Ellie just deadpan looks at them and just goes, "No,
You're not Dustin.
stop it!
It's just not the same.
Dustin."
How dare you stand where you stood?
Ike would break me just with his repetitiveness.
At the dinner table.
But I did have that one thing that always broke you.
It's, you being Dr. Scott, I just can't.
It's okay, Brad.
I just can't.
Brian, what are you doing here?
Brian.
Anyways, Katie, tell me your
Favorite
favorite
scenes.
scenes and why.
Wait, y'all ready for me to get real mushy and real cute?
Yeah.
Oh God, no.
I think, yeah.
We were all there for the
No.
moment, so if you want to talk
You
about
know it's coming.
I'm already emotionally vulnerable.
Yeah, okay. So, My top favorite scene of Rocky Horror Picture Show is and will forever be Damn It, Janet. Because, so as Dustin mentioned earlier, he started off as the criminologist, and I started off as Rocky. And, you know, this all coming out later, he had seen me at the rehearsals and been like,
Literally, first couple rehearsals.
oh my god. That's how he said he was. And he was like, that bitch is sexy. So, he liked me, is essentially what I'm getting
Way
at.
out of my league.
Oh,
Still way out of my league.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't realize that's where we were going with this.
Essentially, he really liked me. He thought I was really cute. And so, things happened, and, you know, one thing led to another. Eventually, we became very fast friends. We became best friends, and we went and did a lot of things together, and, yeah, did a lot of things. No, but in actuality...
Yeah.
In actuality, we did a lot of things together and had a lot of fun, and then eventually, we just started taking a liking to each other. But we had both been previously hurt in really bad relationships, and so we had come to this agreement that we weren't going to date each other, but, like, kind of. We were going to date each other, but we weren't going to, like, date each other.
We weren't going to make it official.
Right.
But we couldn't see other people because we'd get jealous of each other.
Right. And I remember telling him, I was like, I don't want you to, like, see other people, but, like, I don't want to date you. And he was like, well, I don't want you to see other people, but I also don't want to date you. And I was like, perfect. That's great. We can just keep it like that. So, long story short, we ended up dating, and now we're engaged, and we're going to get married next year. And
Yay.
yes, shortly after we got engaged, the whole engagement story was Rocky themed. So we had met on the Apollo stage, and so he decided that he was going to make that happen, also on that stage. And so he proposed to me on the same stage that we met on, and it was really cute, and everybody cried, and it was great. And
But you
I
mean
was out of town.
But you mean Caitlin cried?
yeah, everybody
Caitlin
cried. I mean,
sobbed.
Caitlin absolutely lost her mind, sobbing.
Caitlin's our Columbia, by the way. I don't know
Yes.
if we should.
So, that was a whole thing. And then, so we got engaged on October 20th of last year. And what was it? What was the day that we did the show?
It was.
Was it the next day?
I think it was the next day. It was.
the same
Yeah,
day,
it was.
I thought.
Was it the same day?
I
We
think
had a
so.
parade.
It was. Yeah, it was the parade day because we were
It
all
was-
there for that.
Oh my god. So, literally the same day that he proposed to me on that stage was the day that we had a performance of Rocky. And I remember just just sheer bliss of doing Damn It, Janet, and being like it's finally real, like this person is playing the role, and like he's proposing to me, and I'm like acting like I'm so surprised, but still just like reliving the whole moment of him actually proposing to me. And it was just the feelings that I had during that whole scene of Damn It, Janet was like something that I will truly never forget, because it's something I'll never be able to recreate either, because it was so special. And so that is definitely going to always be my favorite scene, just because Dustin made it so special for me, as far as asking me to
I just hit you in the balls during that scene. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I
there's
still
that.
can't believe you did that when I was out of town.
I apologize.
Well, that's
Hey,
your fault for being out of town.
It's okay. I got
love
covered
waits for
it.
no one.
You guys
Love waits for
you
no
guys
one.
didn't plan your schedule around my System of a Down concert, okay?
So-
Yeah, listen.
What's your favorite scene, Dustin?
Well, it's going to be hard to follow that up. So I have three that I could think of off the top of my head. First one, obviously, Sweet Transvestite, because who's not going to love that or have that in their top three favorite scenes?
I mean, yeah.
Let's be real. Also, number two, the Brad sex scene with Frankenfurter.
Oh my god.
Not only in the movie is it hilarious, but like when Ike was Frankenfurter and I was Brad, like how do you recreate that? And having the audience just like loving it and it's such an awkward situation if you were in that scene in real life, like, oh, what's happening? But like we made people laugh, and that to me is always a plus when you can make people feel joy. And then the third one, I'll add a fun fact. It is Damn It Janet is the third one because initially I was going to propose during the show. That was a thought that I had, but
I was going to let it happen.
And
too.
Ellie was going to let it happen.
I was going to pause it. It was going to be a whole thing.
But I knew that Katie would not be able to finish the show. It would have been all over from there, and she would have been a mess the whole rest of the show.
I would have
like
truly
exciting
stopped.
cries.
I would have truly stopped the show. Like, I truly would have been like, I'm done. We are not doing the rest of the show because I can't do it. I literally cried for that long. Like,
So I was like, yeah, we're not going to do that.
yeah. So,
Good.
yeah.
Good.
Good.
Great,
Okay.
grand, wonderful.
So I want to go through and ask everybody favorite characters and why about the movie.
So can we just like leave Frank out of the running for this?
Yeah,
No.
because
So,
that's
like,
going to
Everyone
be
loves
everybody's at this
Yeah.
point, except, well, not
So
mine.
it's honorable mention Frank, right?
All
Yes,
hail
agreed
Tim Curry.
upon.
Yeah. We're not worthy.
We're not worthy.
God. I had so much fun playing Dr. Scott because of like the levels of absurdity to that character.
Yeah.
Like he's the college professor that made the two leads meet, but he was also a Nazi.
And there's like this whole underlining thing if you see the show of the call lines
Yeah.
about the Nazi thing. I just can't.
Yeah.
Anyways, keep going.
And also he's what's the name of the bureau? The Bureau of Investigation
Yeah.
into UFOs.
And UFOs.
He might be.
I don't know.
And also, like, you could have that character is just so goddamn goofy, but also played so seriously at the same time.
The face jiggles that he has.
and like the actor. What's the name of the actor? Do we have that right here?
Jonathan
Adams balances that so superbly, I think, because he is playing it like pretty straight, but the way, but how straight you play the way that character is written, sometimes you get that it's okay, Brad.
The best.
The best, of course, and his kind of goofy, kind of stereotypical German accent. Brad, what are you doing here?
Brad!
Brad.
Bread?
Just fucking yelling that across the stage at each other. I have such a love for that. I'm just gonna go with Dr. Scott for that. I don't want to waste any more time like talking about the other characters. I'll let you guys do that.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. I love to waste time. So, as everybody kind of already knows, Magenta is my favorite character. Patricia Quinn, she's just iconic. The hair, the maid's outfit. That was only actually for the movie, by the way. The maid's outfit. It's just the way that she carries herself through the whole movie of the ghoulish. As everybody kind of knows, I am a goth girl, or as some guy decided to point out to me at Sheets today. I don't know. I just really looked up to her when I was little. And I saw her, and my stepmom had, like, kind of the red hair, and that's kind of who I wanted to, like, mirror myself off of, because I looked up to her a lot. And I don't know. It was her. It was the first time that you're lucky. He's like, yeah, I'm lucky. We're all lucky. It was that first moment that I knew, and then the done of, like, the time warp starts, and I fell in love with her immediately, right off the bat. There is no other.
Yeah.
Is no other. And then seeing her, like, I've seen, like, a lot of the pictures of, like, the stage show, obviously. I haven't seen her in the stage show. I wasn't alive. But just always the way that she carries herself with that role, with that iconic role. There is no other remake. Stop it. There is no other person that I think could play Magenta. There isn't. It's just, she's just perfect.
It's kind of like Frank in that respect. Like, you get such an iconic performance out of that character from this specific actor. Anybody who's like doing a shadow cast for it, you
have a lot to live up to.
Yeah, like you can try to do your own thing, but like at the end of the day, your audience just wants to see you as that specific interpretation of that character.
Yeah. Favorite character? Bitch.
Definitely gonna have to say Columbia. I've always loved her just because I felt like, I mean, at first I never felt like I would have related to Janet until I started to play her, but I always felt like I've had some sort of connection to Columbia because she is bubbly and fun and crazy and over the top, and with, my past as a dancer, that's always been my thing, and especially with one of my focuses being in tap dance, I just have adored her. I adore her little tap dance, and I adore her crazy costumes, and her just
She does have, like, she has the loudest costume.
And just being, like, over the top and crazy and bubbly, and her emotions, I feel like throughout the movie, her emotions can be from 0 to 100 and back real quick. And I love that.
And her nipples are out so much.
Yes.
Like, I love the nipple part. That's my favorite out of her.
But I love her range of emotion and how she can just be from 0 to 100 and be like this happy, over-the-top, go-lucky girl, and then be like just broken over Eddie.
I can't believe Little Nell actually sings like that. I just want to add that in there. She legitimately sings that way, and I just don't understand the choice, but I respect it.
Yeah.
Anyways.
And so her part in the time warp has always been something that I have just admired and something that I have always wanted to recreate. Not recreate in like, I feel like I can do it better than her or anything like that, because I can't. But something that I've definitely wanted to do in the Shadowcast, and I love everything about Columbia and how she is I feel like the most over-the-top character, behind Frank.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like she definitely is the most over-the-top character, and she is just a sparkling little light.
She definitely stands out from the rest of the cast.
I love her.
And her and Magenta's, like, little love affair.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Just, their weird little sisterhood
I love
just
that.
Gets me through all the time.
Because it's like besties and lovers.
And then not.
And, yeah.
And then immediately not. Okay, now that we've fucked during to touch me, we're done now. We're going to kill your boyfriend, and it's going to be great. We're going to actually feed him to you and not tell you. It's awesome. It's one thing I do like about Magenta and Riff is, like, the whole time they're just, like, we're just kind of, like, watching them and their reactions to everything, as you kind of know and start to get the gist of them being the bad guys.
I mean, that's just what you do when you're, spoiler alert, an alien. There's the twist.
Oh, my God.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my God.
You just like to observe people.
Destin.
I'm gonna say Riff Raff, and I'm gonna keep this short. The biggest reason for me is because after doing a Shadowcast for so long, I've seen it obviously thousands of times by this point. Literally every single time that I've seen this movie, I notice a few more things. A few more creepy things he does, a few more little nuances or like ticks or movements, and I've never had that happen in anything I've seen except for this. Like Richard O'Brien, whatever he did or whatever he may have been on at the time, I don't know, but
there are so many things, so many conspiracy theories.
Literally everything that I've seen from that movie has all been new every time from Riff Raff's character. So to me, I like Riff Raff for that reason.
I love that. So, what I want to do is kind of play a little trivia game.
Ooh.
But I will let you know if you guys fail, I will have a full-blown meltdown, as you should have seen this movie at least over 100 times by this point. So, are we actually ready?
Let's see.
I don't want you to be upset with me.
Want to put that disclaimer out there. I always look like a fucking idiot around you. So,
I know, and I love that.
Oh.
If we get these wrong, Dad will leave for cigarettes and milk and never come back.
All right, I don't know how to lead up after that, but thanks. Okay, so Tim Curry's feature film debut, true or false?
True.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's like, yeah,
I was gonna
I
say
said
false,
true.
but yeah,
that was my
yeah.
answer. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
In the opening scene, Riff and Magenta and Frankenfurter can be seen parodying what famous painting?
Oh,
Farm,
Amish.
Amish. Yeah, that.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Couldn't
remember the name.
I could see it in my
was like,
head
Amish
where they're
farm
like
people.
holding the
Yeah.
yeah.
We have that picture, actually.
Calm down.
Stop it.
Is it American Gothic?
Yes,
or
it
American
is,
Gothic?
God!
Yes.
Okay.
Tim Curry has said to have spoken about Frank's actual sexual orientation. Do you know what it is?
Pansexual?
God damn it, Katie, yes.
I don't know if you're proud or angry.
I don't.
Okay, so this is actually a neat little bit of trivia if you guys can guess it.
Okay.
What does the pink triangle mean on Frank's lab coat, and what does it stand for?
Oh, it's a Holocaust thing. It was
Is it?
it was a patch that the Nazis gave to queer people.
Yep.
Like the Jewish Star of
didn't
David
know
patch.
that.
Yeah, no, that's
I'm
what that
sorry,
was
Dad.
for.
That's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's definitely a weird little piece of trivia that not a
Yeah.
lot of people would know.
I didn't know that one.
Unless you've done the majority of this for your fucking life. Okay,
You
so
just
this
know
one,
about the Holocaust.
I'm pretty sure is easy because I always make the joke during rehearsals. In the car scene, what are Brad and Janet listening to?
Oh,
It's a speech.
oh, the speech.
Is it Nixon?
Yeah. His
Yeah.
Yes.
His resignation,
Yeah, that one.
his resignation speech.
yeah.
Okay.
Good.
So I've actually mentioned this in the podcast. Like recently. I've mentioned one of these things in the podcast.
Oh, God.
While many of the costumes are exact replicas from the stage show, do you know what pieces were added just for the movie?
The magenta outfit was one.
Her maid's
Maid
apron,
outfit,
yeah.
yes.
What is the other one? And we've also mentioned this, but we've also mentioned this outfit.
You're not talking about the Columbia outfit, are we?
Yeah, I am talking about the
yeah,
Columbia outfit. It
okay.
was only added just for the fucking movie.
Oh, cool.
Like the
Good.
tailcoat. Not like the corset and all that kind of
Oh.
fun stuff. I'm talking about like the gold.
Oh.
gold.
We need to start
Okay.
keeping track of these points.
Oh yeah.
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 Okay.
That I failed.
So, and I have another one.
Time to
So,
redeem myself.
the first midnight showing was at the Waverly Theater, and this was in New York City. Do you know what famous holiday this was? It did it on?
I don't want to say Halloween because I feel like that's too obvious.
Nope.
Famous holiday? Mm-hmm. Was it Christmas?
No. No.
Can you give us a month?
I can't.
Give
Because
us
it's in
a
the name. It's in the name. It's
All I can
literally
think of is the Heights of March. That's not a holiday.
no. It is literally
sounded
in
like
the name of the
Jeopardy.
holiday. Of the holiday.
Well, clearly we're all fucking idiots.
Think of a
So,
joke.
My life.
Knock knock.
It's fucking April Fool's Day. Okay.
Wait, how? What part of?
April Fool's Day. It has the part of the month in it. April Fool's.
Because
April.
April.
It's April. Alrighty. That is it. That is all of the trivia questions I got. I'm really glad that you guys actually were able to get through it. So,
The fun fact,
Can I wear
did
grandfather's coat now?
hopefully
Yes.
nobody heard earlier, but if in case anyone didn't know, Richard O'Brien played Phineas and Ferb's dad. Right? They're brothers. I've never seen the show, but I know
They're like-
on Phineas and Ferb, Richard O'Brien voiced the dad.
There's stepbrothers, yeah.
Stepbrothers, then yes.
Ferb's biological
What?
dad. Yeah, I
Good.
don't know why, yeah.
That was a nice,
Thank you.
not a trivia question, but a trivia
a little,
fact.
little slip in there.
Yes.
If we're talking about voice acting, Tim fucking Curry.
Yes.
Huh.
Oh yeah.
Nigel
You want
Thornberry.
to also know?
Nigel.
So you want to also learn a weird little fact?
Yes.
Please.
So you know that
Yeah.
in the lab scene,
Yeah.
apparently that is actually orchestrated. He's not just playing it randomly. There was somebody yelling at him the colors off screen, so that's why he looks so panicked because he's trying to do it that quickly.
Perfect.
So that laughter he's doing is just nervous laughter.
He's just panicking. Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah, he's just actually panicking doing that.
that's really cool.
Well, you're welcome. Weird little piece of trivia for today.
Thanks,
okay. So it's toward the ends of our podcast, and I know we talked in the majority about just us doing the Shadowcast, but that has been our life for the past 3 years.
It has.
This has been the group of people that have pretty much stayed with me pretty much since the very beginning. Well, you've been there with me even before
Yeah.
all of this.
That was some
So.
unforeseen circumstances.
Yeah. Oh god.
But I love this movie.
Oh, God.
I love the campiness of this movie. I love what this movie stands for. I love that this movie has kept me and all the people that I love together. I just could not imagine not doing a Shadowcast, and I'm really glad that even through all of the bullshit that has been this year, that we're still doing this together.
Yes.
So I would
Agree.
like to just end on that. And I'd also like to go around and give our little Screaming Peach rating from everybody.
Oh,
Out of
my
10.
goodness. Okay, it's such a complicated rating because it's
'Cause
supposed
my
to be
heart's at
bad,
Same.
but like it's really good at being bad.
IMDb gave it like a 6 out of 10, 6 point something out of 10.
IMDb.
IMDb. I did have. It sounds like venereal disease. Anyways, keep going.
Okay, so on a scale of 1 to 10, Screaming Peaches, I'm just gonna give it a really strong 6.
Ugh.
Yeah,
You've broken your father's heart. You can't wear a grandfather's
I can live
coat
with
now.
that. Let me be Joel tonight.
Okay. So my heart's going to be entirely in this answer. I don't know how to get my heart out of this answer, but it's a 10 out of 10 as of always and forever.
I'm sorry, I can't be better, Dad.
That's like saying disappointed. Not
Yeah.
even angry or upset.
Just
She's disappointed.
I'm just really heartbroken that we spent this much fucking time on this. And yet you have to give it a 6 out of 10.
Every year
That's what
I
I'm-
work with it, it loses a Screaming Peach.
That's what I'm saying though, is like, are we rating it based on like our original first thoughts on the movie,
I don't-
or are we rating it on like what we feel now?
Because
Say overall.
The first time I'd seen the movie, I fell in love with it because I loved all the weird shit from
Most
the fucking
people
very
can't
beginning.
relate.
No, and that's also because I was made horribly wrong. They should have sent me back.
You were made in a
Under.
lab?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, Rocky.
Shut up.
Okay, well, give us both your ratings.
Yeah.
First time seeing it, a solid 3. But now,
You break up your father's heart.
but now that I'm older and more mature
Stop it.
and understand things and have done it for so long, and it has brought me so many people and so many opportunities and quite literally the love of my life, it's got to be a 10 out of 10.
The heart's in there. Like you can't.
Yeah.
You see how she was
Yeah.
better than you?
All right, Joel Jr.
in
I'm
the
gonna
moment.
go opposite from you. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm kind of gonna say my heart says yes. My brain says
Meh.
meh because of how many times, like I said earlier, you see it all the time. But and same thing, meeting Katie, meeting all these wonderful people over the years, it's kind of helped me grow as a person. So it, like I said, the heart's there. I'm gonna say like 8.5.
Well, I liked that.
Yes.
I liked that answer.
We're the only ones in the will, Alec.
You know what? I'm just gonna go.
We're
out. I'm gonna be
getting
my own
the
dad.
we're getting the
Okay.
inheritance. Just deal with it.
Blackjack
I will obviously
and
will never have
hookers.
any other children other than you guys. So yeah,
Thanks, Dad.
you're out of it. Anyways, this has been Regan's Rants and Raves. I'm very happy for this to be our second episode of something that we love so much. I'm very sorry that we talked the majority about us being a part of the Shadowcast. It's just such a huge part of this movie. We can't not talk about it. And the fact that it's such a big part of our lives because of us being, a part of the Shadowcast is just, I can't. So, by the way, hashtag Rocky Horror ACT, you should use it. You're welcome. Anyways, my
All
name
on
is
social
Ellie.
media.
My name is Ellie. What the fuck is your name, alcoholic?
Oh, Alec.
My name's Katie.
My name's Dave, and I like to party. Just kidding, I'm Dustin. And I also like to party.
Hate you.
I'm Samantha. and
I'm
I have
Samantha.
sex with everyone.
Anyways, goodbye, good night, have fun, go watch the movie if you haven't.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to a Peaches and Scream podcast. My name is Ellie, and please make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe.